So, haven't done a vlog for ages and I thought I'd do one today. I've got 15-year-old Grace riding Odie in the background. So she's going to ride him today. I'm just going to do some fences for her. You can see how far he's come on in his training, or not come on, depending on your verdict. I think he's come on quite a long way. And just the sort of typical things I would normally do. So I will try and videos. I've got my phone today, I've forgotten my other camera. And we will show you, and then I'll get Robbie out. Grace can record that, and then we're going to longline the Shetland. So Grace is going to learn some new skills for that. So he's got a lot better balance now. He can do circles and he can actually turn, because he still falls out through his right shoulder. So turning on that side is not so good, but it's an awful lot better than where it was. So Grace's pony's been off, so she's been coming to help me with the youngsters and been riding the 4-year-olds. Right, just see if you can sit up and balance the canter slightly slower. Sit deep and shoulders back, just to balance the canter. Just to slow it, half halt and let go. See if you can get him a bit rounder as well. So Odie is a little keen bean about jumping, he really loves it. So it's just, he's got quite a big canter, so now it's just about shortening it so he can sit on the hind legs. Again, it's improving, but it's not quite where I want it. Right, down that end, just do some circles around the yellow fence and shorten the canter. Then in between the blue and orange. Yeah, that's it. Now, just, yes, on a circle there. Sit up a bit more and just ask for him to collect. Shorten the canter. Little slower, but keep the hind leg active. That's better. Now go large and keep that canter. Don't go any faster. Right, then round the whole field, just keeping that canter, no faster. He struggles with it. He does. So that's where you need to be on top of him. Don't nag all the time and let go. Don't keep just holding, and then that's it. And then ride forwards, because then he finds that canter easier. So just hold it for a few strides and then ride forwards. And then back on the circle again to shorten the canter. So he can't quite hold the shortened canter. He can on a circle better because the hind legs are made to step under, but on a longer line he can't. That's it, hold that canter. Keep him soft. There you go. So that's where she either needs to be a bit quicker with the reaction of the leg and then ride forwards, but she'll get better at that. So when you felt him drop back like that, you should have then ridden forwards. Okay. Obviously the risk is always that you ride forwards and then you drop out the front door, but for where he is in his training. Do that again. Keep the outside shoulder. So keep your outside leg on. That's it. So it's quite warm today, so we're not going to do huge amounts. But that's it, that small canter, then take it large. And if you feel him going to die again, you ride forwards. That's better. And then trot. And give him a pat. There you go, and trot, change the rein. So this is naturally his better rein. See, this is his easier rein. That's why you need to, like, make him rounder. That's it, keep your leg on, but take it off as well. He does love his jumping. Right, start looking at the yellow. You're going to do the yellow fence on the turn. Don't change the canter. You'll get it right this time. Look, make sure you hit the first fence, hit the pole right. Don't go from there. Come round and get your canter sorted. Grace. I'm going to come closer. Don't go from there. Get your canter sorted, then come back round again. Do a circle. Do not come from there. That's it. Keep that canter looking, and you want to be in the middle. That's it. Keep coming again. One more. So it's a jump on the bend. Just a really nice exercise to get them. That's it. Change the rein. Do it on the other rein, and then I angle the fence because it just then gives them something to think about. And it means they don't fall out. So it's not very big, but he does this quite well.
You said that was terrifying, then.
Right, sort your canter out. There you go, looking. Well, I don't know what that was. Right, middle of the fence, hold.
You're just looking at it and...
This is the harder rein for canter, why it's not so good. And so he can't sit on this canter so much, so he finds this rein a lot harder. But half halt, let go, half halt, let go, half halt, let go. Keep half halting and letting go. And then if he runs, just let go. Yeah, and hopefully he will work it out and back himself off. See the difference?
Yeah, completely.
So now I've got a little bounce exercise. He does rush and can't sit, but actually I've just put it up. He's a very athletic little thing. He's got some ping, hasn't he? Once more. He won't do this too much because he's 4 and so he finds it really hard. So now we're just popping him over the brush. Remember, he hasn't seen it from this direction. But he's so brave, he won't. There you go, lovely. So now we're just about to finish. He's just got one final exercise. I don't tend to overjump them, they just do enough to be educated. That's it, nice and straight. That's it, look to your next one. Yeah, come around again. Do both of them together again. Do both of them together again. But he didn't run out.
He was looking to run out on that one.
Yeah, that's why you have to be on it, and that's why I prefer to go out a trot. This is where they learn all their skinny training. So I have actually got 2 poles down the ground and not so completely evil. But I do start them quite early on this. That's it. Looking where you're going. You channel him. Lovely. So what are your learnings then, Grace?
I just got to let him sort it out for himself.
Yeah.
Not interfere too much, not try to set it up for him. He's got to do it and learn. So if you're setting it up for them and then they make a mistake, they're not really learning what they're doing wrong. But if you let them make it themselves and they know what to do.
Yeah, but you've also got to be in learning, horses learning to make mistakes, you can't keep changing the goalposts, because otherwise they're not learning, they're just getting confused. So you've actually got to keep it the same each time, and then they can learn. So if you suddenly galloped into a fence, he wouldn't learn anything. If you then trotted into the fence and made a mistake, he's not going to learn anything. You need to come back again in that same canter.
Yeah.
But no, he's a good chap. Right, let's wash him off and on to the next pony. So next up we have Robbie. Robbie has spent 3 months out in the field doing nothing, just growing. As you can see, his frame has certainly changed. He's got all the shine back in his coat. Obviously he looks thrilled right now. He does not like particularly being brushed, but he just about tolerates it. He's a bit of a grumpy ginger about being brushed. He is at a very different stage to Odie, so he will not do huge amounts. He's just learning, he's getting stronger and slowly, because he's a bit more yak than a horse at the moment to ride. Yeah, doesn't like. So yes, we'll just tack Robbie up. I'm going to ride Robbie, and you can see where he is at the moment. He's done about 4 days a week. He does quite a bit of hacking. Did the first hill the other day, and bits of schooling. I try and school on the grass as much as possible while the weather's good, rather than being in the arena, because it's a long old winter being in the arena and bored. And yeah, and then I'll mix in a bit of schooling and a bit of jumps, so he does a bit of everything. So we'll see how he goes. So this is just an update on Insey. Insey has cost around the region of nearly 10 grand with her eyes. Come here, Insey. So she's living in a mask at the moment. She got given a test for leptospirosis last week, and it's come back positive. So in some ways we couldn't get on. So Insey, yes, spent 2 weeks in the eye clinic where we tried to battling with her eyes to get it under control. So also you saw the pus, then she got the moon blindness, which is when the eye goes cloudy. It's still not 100%, but we've managed to get on top of the uveitis. Just take her mask off a second. Oh, there you go. So her eyes are in pretty good state. She's obviously had a lot of steroids, lots of antibiotics, but the test came back last week for leptospirosis, I think that's how you say it, which is rat pee and a bacteria that gets into their eyes. So I asked the vet who came out yesterday to check her eyes if they've had that before. They've not had, I think they've only ever had dealt with one case, so it's pretty rare. But it's great that we've actually got a reason for why she's been suffering from her uveitis and her problems with her eye. She's going to have her shoes pulled this week because she's not going to be in any work. She needs to go back to the day clinic with the eyes clinic to be treated for the leptospirosis. And she'll just be in for the day. I think what they do is give her specialist antibiotics to deal with the bacteria, and she's off anyway. She's had strong steroids into her eyes, so you can't compete on it. She's had a load of antibiotics. She lost a load of the shine in her coat. She's looking a bit poor from obviously spending 2 weeks in the clinic. We're just getting the weight slowly back on her. Obviously she was super fit anyway, she was 3-day fit, but she still dropped a lot. And so yeah, just get her shoes pulled, and she can have off until pretty much they come in for November, as soon as the weather turns and they're not able to be out at 24/7. So very good news, hopefully, about her eyes long term. It's not a guarantee, and it might not be out of the woods, but it's a reason why it keeps happening. Because at one point we thought it was autoimmune, which is when her body is attacking herself and her eyes, because the eyes don't have white blood cells or something like that. So they're an easy place for the body, the antibodies to attack. But no, she's a very good, sweet girl. She's pretty pleased to come back from the eye clinic where she spent 2 weeks. She had a thing called a lavage in her eye, which is when they sew in a pipe into the eye so it can constantly drip in drugs, and it runs back along their neck. So they stitch that in to keep it in place. Obviously we were applying drugs to her eyes ourselves, but it's just never as effective as a lavage, which can then treat her 24/7, but they have to remain on box rest. So she's always lived in a fly mask anyway, but now we've got her in the equivisor, which we've had for a while anyway, just so she can't rub her eyes if they're feeling sore and then causing more problems and more inflammation. But yes, not really how I was planning my eventing season to go with her, especially she's been going really well. But you know, it's better that she's got 2 eyes. At one point we thought she might end up losing both, so it's a good result as it is. Oh, she's gonna want her bum scratched. So yes, it's a good result for her. We have not had to have any eyes removed because she had uveitis in both eyes. So if we did remove one eye, there was always going to be a risk that would then make the horse completely blind. So what? I put the brush fence up for the first time. Robbie hasn't actually seen it before. It's always been at the side. But I don't actually want him to jump it. I just want him to go and stand next to it and be relaxed about it. As you can see, he's very suspicious of it, and I just want him to try and get as close as possible. Ideally, I'd like his head to go completely over it, just so he's like standing close to it and touching it with his nose, but haven't quite got to that stage. So every time he stands still and straight, I'm relaxed and let drop everything. If he moves backwards, which he occasionally does, then I ask him to go backwards, forwards again. So it's just a case of asking him to stay still and straight and then relax. So I want him to be like not worried by it and spooky. So when he comes to jump it, it's not a scary object for him and he's backing off miles away. I want him to be like, oh, yes, it's fine. He might need to learn to understand what it actually is as a jump, but I want him to be like, be able to jump out of a trot and he to work out the question rather than for him to be like backing off and spooking and wobbling and not straight or running out from a couple of feet away. So that's what I'm doing here. Obviously, the aim was to originally ride around it, but then he started spooking quite a long way away from it. So of course, started doing this work before I'd even done any warm up with him. Well done, Robbie. So Robbie is now going to spend his evening going past that. So one of the things I do with very young horses is he's really not very strong enough to hold shape of a canter and stuff, but I like them to pop little jumps like that on angles where, it's just nothing, but they have to think about things and lift themselves up and pop like that in the middle of schooling, just so that they start working their brains towards eventing and also they're sort of ready for whatever it could be. So it's not too onerous because it's tiny, but at the same time, just gives them something different to think about. So another reason I really like the field is because it's such a bigger space. So I don't tend to do tight circles with him or anything like that because he can't cope. So I use a much bigger space, which is why I really like working the young horses in the field. And now you can see he's just coming around and doing the same exercise that Odie was, which actually, he's not going to be able to sit. He drops it, he lifts his head. He hasn't got the skill set. He's much earlier in his stage. He's not really that strong enough to, but it's all education. This rein is obviously not very good, but just let the reins go so he can sort it out. And he tries, which is the main thing. Again, he's not going to do huge amounts of this stuff because he's going to find it very hard for the training stage he is, but you need to start doing it now because it will get better and they need to learn. Robbie has no canter really, but it doesn't do him any harm to jump a little exercise like that to sort his feet out. So Robbie is a lot greener than Odie, so we're just going to finish off with a tiny upright and he's going to learn his first skinny training. So we have stuck the wings up for him. As you can see, he hasn't done very much work, but he gets pretty hot and finds it hard work. So I just keep the sessions short, but with plenty to occupy the brain. So this is what we're going to do now, is just pop the skinnies, but he said, compared to Odie, he's a lot greener, so he has wings put up in order to help him. So now we're finishing with the Shetland, who gets her exercise through long right lining. Grace is learning.
I've never done this before.
As you can see, Duchess is munching already, so Grace has really got her forwards. My dream is that I can do mini marvels with her, which is like Shetlands, the Piaffe and stuff like that. But I think we've got quite a long way to go. Right, if you can let the reins out slightly longer, that's it. And then you can start putting some turns in and things with this high speed manoeuvres you've got. That's it. If she kicks the dog, it's the dog's fault. There we go. Right, so now you're going to ask for trot. Go.
Oh, we got it.
Yep.
Is that a Shetland's trot?
Yeah. You just power walk. Obviously she can go a lot faster, but then I stand in the middle and would like almost lunge her type thing. But I quite enjoy seeing you striding out after her. Right, now start putting some circles and things in. That's it. Oh, no, I think you were meant to go. Keep going. Make sure she's straight. Same rules as riding. That's it, change the rein. She's good, isn't she?
She is really good, actually.
Right, now I'm going to teach. So I've now moved Grace's long lining onto the next level, hopefully. Yeah, try not to like, if that was a big horse with the long lines. Yeah, try and get a little bit, try and get trot. The pony's supposed to go faster than you.
Go on, come on.
Come on, Dutchie. Get after her. Come on. That's it. Now, that's it.
You're supposed to be working, not me.
Yeah, I think you need to be. Don't think she's got very much respect for you. Hi, Dutchie. I think you need to be more disciplined.
Nothing's happening.
No, it's not, is it? She's got your measure.
How did you do this?
Right, stand behind her a bit more and make her go on. That's it. Then you stand in the middle and long line. That's it. That's it.
Lucy's now going to show me how it's done. Or not. They'll learn to get out of the way. I don't know why I couldn't do it. That's just unfair.
I think so. The secret not to hold the reins too tight. So we've now taken her out in the field because she's a bit keener in being in the field than she is in an arena, as you can see. Run faster, Grace! So Grace, how was your long lining of the Shetland experience?
Actually not that bad. It's a little bit difficult trying to get it to trot.
It was
And then-
hilarious.
I don't know why. I was going, try it, she's going, no. And then you did it, and then she was trotting. She wouldn't do it for me, she was just walking and then stopping and then not moving.
That's called Shetland respect.
Yeah. I obviously don't do very well at that part.
No, she knows who feeds her.
She's never met me, well, she's met me a few times.
Yeah.
But she was just like, I don't know you that well, you don't feed me. I'm just not going to listen.
So how was your overall experience of riding for the crazy farm?
Oh, actually, really fun. Really, really fun. Really hot, but fun.
How's your blister?
Painful.
Oh, it's world's smallest violins playing here.
Small bit hurts, okay?
We're now at the fish and chip shop.
Yeah.
Grace isn't being fed, so I've got this to my other half because I'm running late.
It's not for me.
So hopefully you enjoyed that. Just waiting for our fish and chips now. Bit of an insight. Yes, just horses overall. Training time needs to be put into him, and hopefully get the results. In 2 weeks' time I'm off to camp with both of them, so that'll be fun. Robbie gets 3 days on the cross country, effectively doing little bits here and there, and Odie will get to be part of the lessons. So sorry we haven't vlogged for ages, but this is why, because we haven't done anything. So hopefully I'll start doing a bit more now.